Hi, Bert Sugar. Thanks for watching KnockOut TV.
Now, let's go back. We've talked before. Best fighter of all time.
Sugar Ray Robinson.
No hands down, no question.
He'd be 1 through 9 of top 10.
Okay. Who's 10?
Henry Armstrong.
Really?
Henry Armstrong in 1937 had 21 fights, won 20 of them, including 3 titles, 20 by knockout. That ain't
Pretty
bad.
impressive.
That ain't
Pretty
bad.
impressive. Now, you've been doing this forever, okay? Who's your favorite fighter? Who's Bert Sugar? Who couldn't you wait to see fight?
I loved Muhammad Ali. I loved Sugar Ray Robinson. I actually saw him several times. And there were some others I loved, like Holly Mims, because I'm a Washingtonian. He was out of Washington, and they always spell his name wrong. It was Holley. I loved, Carmen Basilio was always exciting. Granted, he had a face that looked like the side of the stitching of a hardball. But there were certain great fighters that you always waited for. You knew they were going to give you 120%.
Absolutely. And coming back to Manny Pacquiao, here's one of those guys.
I think so.
I think so too. And it's a rarity nowadays. We talk about on the show, we talk about this a lot, that these guys, these fighters, they fight not to lose.
Well, that's the old amateur way. The old amateur way was you would fight, and then I tried it. I wasn't any good. My nickname was the Great White Hopeless. But the old amateur way was you would have a tournament. And even if you won, you'd be fighting the next day, maybe that evening. And so the whole thing was not to get cut. Not to get cut, because even if you won, you couldn't go on.
Sure.
So they would fight like this, just to score points. And you see some of the pros today, like Klitschko, who are fighting in this safety-first manner. And it's galling because nobody told them they were pros now. I mean, I asked Vladimir, I said, Vladdy, you have 2 hands. Did you understand the union limit is 2? You can use both?
Did he understand?
He understands.
Because he actually used both his last fight.
Yes.
Finally, which was great. Okay. Now, always have the cigar in your hand.
Yeah, it gives me something to hold on to in case I'm falling down at my age.
We had a trivia question on the show that your great uncle was Red Auerbach.
Yeah, yes.
Is that true?
Yes. Arnold. Uncle Arnold.
Did you call him Uncle Arnold?
Yes, that was his name. Now, he told me a wonderful story about cigars.
Go ahead.
He said that when they moved from Boston Garden over to the Fleet Center, they auctioned everything but the parquet floor off, including one of his quote-unquote victory cigars, which went for $500. He said it wasn't even his brand. It was somebody else had just thrown the
Somebody's got that on their mantelpiece in the collector's item.
Somebody threw it down.
That's funny. That is great. But he was...
Yes.
Were you close with him? I mean, were you a basketball fan?
Yeah, only when ultimately, yes, but when he had the Washington Capitals. I was raised in Washington.
Okay.
And in the 49-50 era, he had Bob Ferrick and Bones McKinney and Freddie Scolari, and I loved the team because he would take me to the game free.
Great. Of course. And
you
meet all the players and all that. That's great.
So, but Red, or Arnold, was a lovely, gentle person and funny as a Dickens, and loved his cigars. I mean, I had a great time knowing the people in Washington, the Shirley Poviches, who lived next door to me.
Right.
Shirley Beatty, who was Shirley MacLaine.
Sure.
I even knew Goldie Hawn because I knew her father, Jack. And, it was just a nice way to go through your childhood.
That is all year around, all that. Now, does Red or Arnold, is that a big reason that you have that cigar?
I just like them.
No? Okay.
I figured if it wasn't for 25 of these a day smoked by Winston Churchill, we'd all be speaking German.
Well said. Well said. Bert Sugar, always a pleasure having you on KnockOut TV. Thank you so much.
Thank you for putting up with me.
You're the best.